I mean, young people should be happy. We all feel well if we are happy. And for that reason, it's so important that we explain to the kids that they have not only rights, they have also obligations. And I mean, this is meeting everybody. We have all rights of the one hand side, and we have to fulfill obligations. And parents have to give the experiences to their kids, and also the knowledge. They have to support them and have to give them the values. Terry mentioned before Detmar Kramer. He was my mentor. He was an incredible coach. He won 2 times with Bayern München the Champions League. He won the World Cup of the club teams with Bayern München. He was coaching and teaching in more than 100 countries all over the world. And Detmar told me all the time, Werner, don't talk, do it. Do it. That's the most important thing, that you do the things and you live the things you are expecting from your kids. And values, if you have values, I think the first value is quality. Quality in every respect. I mean, this means the relationship to the wife or to the husband. This means the relationship to the kids. This means the relationship to neighbors, to all the people, the respect to people. Everything has to be done in the very best way. The next thing, which is very important, is life orientation. This is very important that you do everything on a basis which is understandable. And you shouldn't dream, you should do the things. That's so important. The next value we have is enjoyment. If you are not happy about doing the things you have to do, you will never be good. So you can't dream a dream that your son will become an engineer and he's not talented for that. He will never become a very good engineer. He becomes it only if he's interested in these things, and if you can learn and study with big pleasure. And the same is in football. If they don't like it, if they don't enjoy it, you can't press them. There's no way. The most important thing is that you care, that they enjoy, and you yourself, you have also to show that you enjoy every day. If you come out like this and we have to do it, they won't follow you. You have to be optimistic, you have to be active, you have to go forward in order to inspire and to motivate your kids. Another thing which is very important is that you are honest. Never lie. Never lie. It's better to say, I have made a mistake, this is a problem, as to lie and to tell the kids things which are not true. I can tell you a great story. I have experienced it myself. My father was my coach. I played in my hometown in an amateur team, and he was coaching us. And he was very, very tough all the time, because especially against me, I was 17 years, I played in the first team already, and he was always asking me. And on Saturday we had a special training because he prepared us tactically for the next game. And I was with my girlfriend at the time. I was biking to go around a little bit, and I came delayed, very much delayed, because there was a thunderstorm. And then he was starting arguments against me, and I was defending myself. On the end, he slapped me into my face. And I was so angry. I was very close to go back, but it was in front of my colleagues, and I would never do that. And then we came home, and I told him that you did something which was completely wrong in front of all my friends and my teammates. And he told me, I'm very sorry, I would like to excuse, it will never happen again. And he was a great father. He did a mistake, but he was able to say, I'm sorry, and he didn't lie and tell excuses. He was so great, and I understood him very well, and we had never ever problem. And I think this was great, and this is a very good example for honesty. The other point, thing which is very important is predictability. Keep what you promise. Never promise something what you can't keep later on. And I mean, it's easy to say, I have a vision. I want to be a great player. And you, because you like to be a good dad or mom, you say you will become a good player, a top player. And I mean, it's much better to say, go step by step. That all the objectives have to be reachable. This is very important that I can go step by step. Never give them objectives they never can be fulfilled. But because then you have a big disappointment and you have frustrations. You have to be very open, and it's very important that you don't predict something which you can keep. And it's the same when you are playing for a great club. When we go with, let's say, an under-12 team to a match, and Bayern München is always very good, and we play local teams, and they come out very arrogant from the bus and believe they are the biggest, the greatest player because they play for Bayern. This is completely wrong. Because the people don't think this is Max Huber or Sepp Maier or somebody else. This is Bayern München. And I mean, it's very important that you appear in a way which is acceptable. Another point is teamwork. Parents have, in the family, they have to work together. They have to work with their kids. Maybe they have to work with the grandparents. So it's important that you are a team, that they are used to work with other people. If they stay as individuals, they won't have a chance to succeed and to become great people. So very important. And the same is that they communicate. They are able to communicate. So they have to learn from you as the parents how to communicate and how to do the things. This is so important that you do things like that. And another thing which is very important, give them support and help. Be supportive and helpful. Because the first thing is that you become objective. I know exactly, this is very difficult. These are your kids, you love your kids, and you expect sometimes more as they can give you. So it's very important that you judge them in a very objective way. It makes no sense if he's not talented to push it forward all the time. It is more important that you can decide the boy can do the things and he can fulfill the things, then he's frustrated. And of course, place high value on the school education. I can tell you, in Germany, the University of Bremen has done a study and has asked in all 18 Bundesliga clubs, 14-year-old boys, what they expect for later. And 96% were mentioning that they expect they will become professionals in Bundesliga. And this is absolutely impossible. A promille can make it, not more. And for that reason, you see how many pressure the kids are having. And how can you reduce the pressure on the kids? They have enough. You can reduce it only if they get a very good school education. So our saying was always, even at Bayern München, we were saying it's better to reach your school objective than to reach your football objective. And if you are good in school, then you can also miss some training sessions. So we had always understood always if they had to undergo an examination that they have to learn for school and that they can't come. Because when they know that they have a good school education, then they are very well ranked. Otherwise, it's a problem. And when you don't have a good school education, you will have to leave a top club because there is a big selection. Every year, 3 players have to leave and 3 others are scouted through the scouting system. I think then they lose also their friends. This is an experience which we are having, and then they lose ground. So if they have a good school education, nothing can happen. Nothing can happen. And I mean, it's not depending on 1 or 2 more training sessions. Many of them, they have a problem in school. They find out, they say, okay, I train more, then I'm becoming a better football player. This is not true. I mean, the most important thing is that they are free, that they are optimistic, that they enjoy to play, that they go forward. I think this is a very, very important point, that you don't put pressure on. I tell you an example. We had the guy, he was the best scorer ever we had in the German under teams. He started in the under 15 and finished up in the under 19. And he scored every time. And he was a very big perspective, Turkish, very strict education, very strict at home. The father tells you what is the truth, nothing else. And his father was always watching every training session. If he doesn't train very well, father slapped him. He put him under pressure. Do you know where he plays now? He plays second division in Turkey, because he couldn't deal with the pressure. And Hermann Gerland, the coach of the second team, told me he felt that he can't beat an opponent. And he lost more and more self-confidence, and this was a very big problem to him to go further. So, important, no pressure on soccer development, because this is very dangerous. Another thing which is important, the coaches are responsible for many things in football. They fix the lineup, they make the substitution, they fix the position every player has to play, they decide what will be trained in training sessions, they decide which team will play in the match. And I mean, parents can't have any influence. I told you the problems you are having when as my father was my coach. This was the toughest time for me. And if you think the parents are thinking in the same way, then you can imagine which problems are arising for the kids. So, very important. Only the coach decides what is happening, what they do in training, what they do in matches for the tactic, how they line up, how their position is, which substitutions they are doing. Stay away. Don't try to influence these things. And